So let's give a warm round of applause for Faith Bemiss.
Thank you, James. It must be a good night for mice, Scott, because both of my poems are about mice. The first one is one you've probably heard before, but then last night I sat down and I wrote a new one, which turned out much different than I thought it would. So first, the older one, The Science of Mice. We had pets, dogs, cats, chickens, guinea pigs, but it was Missy the mouse who caused such a fuss. With a pair of petal pink translucent ears and 2 red but not beady eyes, she was white and cream colored, docile and pure of heart, spinning on her wheel, minding her happy caged life, until I decided she needed a friend. Of course, it took some tall talking to convince Mom it could be a science experiment, or she's so sweet, but look, Ma, she's lonely, see? Mom soon caved, and Willie came to live at our house. Coal black with pink ears and 2 small eyes, it was love at first sight. Soon Missy had a litter, but that was all right. The mouselings grew and were such a cute sight. I guess we should have read the booklet that said, Mama mice can have up to 32 pups at a time, and these cute little hairless pinkies are all ready for breeding at about 5 weeks. We didn't read the book. So after the first batch reached their prime, we soon realized most of Missy's pups were girls nesting full-time. Soon mathematics and science went out the door, and we were in the midst of a population explosion. We needed more cages and litter and food and water, a geneticist, a biologist, and the CDC. Then all of the nesting and spinning and eating and breeding and birthing came to a halt. Some phantom disease spread throughout the mousely herd, until not a mouse was stirring. Only matriarch Missy could be heard, spinning on her squeaky wheel, looking just as healthy as she was at the start. The perfect science experiment of love with a big heart. She lived 5 more years in that private retreat, very happy to be alone. We have a mouse that's living in the newsroom, and it was found in our editor's drawer, so he set a mousetrap out. So I was going to try to write a poem to go along with that, but it just kind of morphed into something else. And this is the ode to the mus musculus, which is the house mouse. So this is in his voice, the mouse. Oh, cheerio, as far as genetic modifications go, I will never be sorry for falling into the tube. They say curiosity killed the cat, but it's the mouse they need to fear. All that work creating superior genetically modified soldiers. Oh, give me a break. All those top-notch scientists in pristine white coats sputtering around in lingo jargon. I just sat and watched day in and day out, creating a superior species. Oh, sure. Oh, right. Leaving your test tubes out all night. What's a mouse to do? Investigation is worthy of the most sophisticated mus musculus rodent extraordinaire. Just a little sniff here, a little sniff there, and kerplop into the tube I went. Don't argue. It was a big tube, to be sure, filled with foul-smelling muck. But that's what I'm about, sniffing out the muck, checking out the dark places, watching the human race argue about presidents' wives and lotteries and belch. Whoa, that was some strong stuff. Worse than the administrator's whiskey bitters stashed in the corner of the bookcase drawer. Now, getting out of the tube was a surefire trick. It just popped apart as my muscles began to flex. One more hiccup and I'd grown 2 feet. I looked behind and saw my tail was as wide as Montgomery Street. My eyes began to process the laboratory room. Wow, I could recite Ulysses' doom. Seeking too much knowledge would surely send me to the hottest portion of Hades' tomb. But never fear, Super Mouse was here. I'd show those arrogant docs what a mutant mouse stalks, With my modified incisor teeth now growing to resemble a reaper's scythe, I'd gnash the petri dishes into dusty sand and crash the lab into molecular ions worth of a nuclear event. I'd process atoms at a blink and perform brainy surgery with a wink. Solving politics and reciting algorithms would be my fix. I'd even learn to play poker and reach the stars. I'll plan to visit the planet Mars, read Plato and create cures, solve a mathematician's worst nightmare while writing a song, and while I'm so potent a beast, I'll make $1 billion and run for president of the United States. I'll trump them all. This super modified rodent, cunning and wise, created in a lab unsupervised. The moral of this scientific slant is never to leave your tubes uncapped. You never know what might slip in and grow into a monstrous foe, seeping out into the populist flow, changing every structure of the nation, creating an anomalous event worth of world domination. With me, a super test tube monster mouse, maybe I'll take up residence in the White House.